Every time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up. So all of these factors, wait, hold up, Ben. All of these factors come together to create this pattern that we see of young men in my age range committing these shootings. And if you want to sit here and go back and forth, tit for tats, I can say Dylan Roof, Robert Bowers, John Earnest, none of these were black people, none of these were trans people, none of these were even Democrats. These were neo-Nazis who had things carved into their guns. You can sit here and muddy the waters, but you are just lying.
I just don't want innocent people to die. Sue me for that.
Then maybe tell Trump to tone down his rhetoric.
If you think this is Trump, this is exactly you literally just the political entire argument. So Abby, let me go back to the point.
Can I make something that might be a little bit more controversial than that?
Hold on a second.
Sure, go ahead.
This is the part that should not be this hard.
He says he hates his enemies.
Hold on, Adam.
Who says he hates his enemies?
This is the part that should not be this hard for people to understand. After the assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk, I would hope, and after multiple attacks on ICE facilities, I would hope that leaders of the Democratic Party, and one of those leaders is Gavin Newsom, would know better than to go on TV and to say that ICE agents are the bad guys and that they're authoritarian and then expect that no one's going to listen to what he's saying or respond to it. There should be more accountability.
But he's acting like that. It's explicitly or implicitly is a call to violence, a call to action, a call to go out. Like, no, in what world would the use of words, rhetoric, to be able to call something exactly what it is when you have agents that are wearing masks because they know what they're doing is illegal under the Constitution, going around and rounding people up in their homes, at birthday parties, whether they are American citizens or illegal or what have you, just rounding everybody up and throwing them into extrajudicial prisons in El Salvador and in South Florida or what have you. Of course, we have to call that out. We have to say that's authoritarian. When we talk about authoritarianism or fascism, those are actions. Those are things that fall into that bucket. So calling it what it is not, as Ben Ferguson would like to say, this horrible, awful thing that's inciting people to do violence. It's just not.
Just ask you a question about that, okay? Because I think at the heart of so much of this is your insistence that using certain words leads to violence. Is that what you're saying?
Calling people fascists and Nazis and authoritarian?
So when Rand Paul posted this today,
this is the whataboutism.
No. I'm just here. Hold on. Rand Paul said YouTube admitted the authoritarian Biden regime ordered them to censor Americans. He used the word authoritarian.
Yes, is it true or false?
Okay, and then let me play. This is Donald Trump. Just Donald Trump. Listen.
It's a choice between communism and freedom. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist. She's a fascist.
We have short.
That's why it's just annoying. It's like beyond annoying. I don't even know have the words for it, but like the way that these people pretend that they're so innocent, that they've never done a single thing wrong, that they are these like innocent flowers that are just, no, we're just trying to govern innocently. We're just trying to make the country better. But Trump's out there for the last 10 years. They're fascists. They're poison. They're scumbags. I hate them. We're going to destroy them. Like all these things that he's just saying constantly over and over and over and over and over again. And you guys are now clutching your pearls about the left, probably doing it to what extent? Maybe half or maybe like 3/4 of being as vulgar and aggressive and using rhetoric against the other side. Give me a fucking break.
Memories around here.
Who's running for
I guess
mayor in
what
New York City?
I'm saying, what I'm asking you, Ben. Last thing,
communist?
okay,
Is
guys.
he a socialist?
Guys, hold on.
He's not off.
No.
You guys are running
Ben,
in here.
He was calling Biden a communist.
Ben, he was talking about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Hold on a second. Okay, I have a question for you. Are you so committed to this idea that we should just ban certain words from the lexicon, authoritarian, fascist, Nazi, communist. Should we just ban them because they're all leading to violence? Or is it just that it's not okay when your political opponents use them?
I think you're incredibly smart, and I think that you're smart enough to realize.
Really condescending.
No, I think you're smart to realize that when you
condescending.
demonize law enforcement to the point where what is happening is becoming regular against ICE agents because it's coming from people like Gavin Newsom, we should know that there is a correlation there.
Hold on. I take your point about.
It was 8 hours.
Hold on. No.
earlier.
Hold on a second. Listen. To
8 hours.
To a degree, I take your point about demonization, I think generally. But I'm asking you about your insistence that certain words that are being used by your political opponents should be off limits. And if that is your contention, then I think lay that on the table and let's make that clear and let's apply it to everybody.
We missed a good point.
We
missed a good point that he made. Everybody at the table did, and I think that we need to pay more attention to it. And I'm glad you brought it up and not me. What there is a common theme about is young white men in this country between the ages of 20 and 30 committing a series of mass shootings. And until we actually have a conversation about that, do you know who else struck that chord? You know who else said the same thing on Fox News? Trey Gowdy, who said the same thing. We have to begin to have a conversation about families, video games.
I'm fine. I love
the problem is people like Ben Ferguson.
You and I can agree on that.
We have to include the media and social media. The fact that tonight the first thing we started talking about was J.D. Vance instead of what actually happened is irresponsible, and we have to start holding that accountable.
Can you use J.D. Vance's own words?
Why is that right where you go?
It's the vice president.
What words are more important?
That's immediately tearing people apart.
If we're going to talk about this, why not look at...
are tearing people apart?
No. You going right there instead of
saying what the vice president said is divisive.
Ben, you want to know whose words?
The words that matter most to me were the ones that were on the bullets.
You didn't do Gavin Newsom's comments against.
And because we didn't play those tonight.
Why didn't
Ben,
8 hours before? How do you? More relevant.
Okay, listen. I don't even know what to say. He's the vice president of the United States. We're going to play his comments.
The difference is in one case, there's no demonstration of cause and effect between what Gavin Newsom said and what happened. And in the other case, we know he's talking about the event that we're talking about today in the news.
Then include both.
But one is actually about it, and the other is speculative about maybe it could be.
Okay. Speculative.
Of course it is. About the connection.
ICE agents get shot at, and Gavin Newsom shouting about ICE agents.
All right, so if Trump says something and then the next day someone does something really stupid, you're going to tell me they're connected,
the
right?
Democratic Party has demonized ICE as
now
a
it's
group.
Look,
and it is a mantra.
Have you ever said hate speech? Listen to
all right, guys, we're going to leave it here for this conversation because we really do have to go. We have a lot more to get to in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, at the end of the day, my take on this aligns a lot with Adam Mockler, wherein, we are definitely dealing with a crisis with young men in this country, maybe even globally. In the developed Western world, we have seen, and this has to do with, I think, the broader economic situation, with the socioeconomic situation, and not to mention the internet, with things like the accessibility of pornography, online gambling, social media, and these things that we've just sort of allowed ourselves to have unfettered access to, or nothing's really allowed. Of course, these companies have lobbied for this over the years, to have as little regulation and oversight as possible. And we are just sort of lab rats at this point. You have turned the young millennial and Gen Z men and women into lab rats, and we are experimenting, to go and experiment with pornography and gambling and all of these detrimental things. Meanwhile, economy is not working for everybody. Wages haven't gone up in many, many years. In decades. We've dealt with generational crisis after generational crisis, from COVID to, the financial crisis, to inflation after COVID, and, who knows what is coming next down the pike. And we have not seen the governmental action on the other side to counteract that and to balance these forces out. While the rich continue to get richer, continue to rig the system, and continue to buoy themselves, you have the rest of society that is left to fight, in this cutthroat world where you have access to all those things that I had just mentioned. So we're being experimented on as lab rats in this new techno, dystopian future, while we don't have the socioeconomic buoys to be able to give people an off-ramp to something more productive. So that is what is causing, in my opinion, the mental health situation, these crises, the uptick of violence and extremism and mass shootings and terror events domestically, I think is a direct result of that. You need to first address the economic situation. You need to address the economic stress, education, healthcare, and all of these things that have been left to shambles for the last several decades. And then I think you have to also look on the other end at accessibility to things like pornography and gambling. For one, I don't know if I'm a proponent of banning those things. I don't think so. But creating more education around that at a younger age, creating more of an infrastructure for education and healthcare resources and off ramps from those things so that people can have a better chance to avoid falling into those traps. So those are my thoughts again on this moment in time where we are having these unfortunate events back to back. Charlie Kirk, more shooting in Colorado, shooting at an ICE facility, and you have the culprits being who they are, at least allegedly, and we have to reconcile that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you feel these solutions potentially might be, and yeah, that'll do it for now. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace.